Hello everyone, it's Jamie here. Now, before we get into the actual episode, apologies, I've got a request to make. All of us at the Smart 7 are really excited. Over the past week, we've been nominated for 4 different awards, which is just a huge, massive achievement for all of us. But one of them needs your help. We've been nominated for a Signal Award. We are up against some absolutely terrifying competition. Would you do me a favour? Would you just go to thesmart7.com? That will redirect you to the voting page. It'll take literally 1 minute of your day and could make the world of difference to us here. Thanks very much.
If you're listening to this podcast, you must recognize the value of asking questions. At Aramco, our questions help us engineer a better future. How can today's resources fuel our shared tomorrow? How can we deliver energy to a world that can't stop? How can we deliver one of the fuels of the future? How can we sow curiosity to harvest ingenuity? To learn more about how innovation drives us forward, visit aramco.com/poweredbyhow.
Most weight loss programs are short-term fixes, but managing your weight needs a long-term solution. And that's what makes Noom different. Noom uses science and personalization to help you manage your weight for the long term. Their psychology-based approach helps you build better habits and behaviors that are easier to maintain. The best part? You decide how Noom fits into your life, not the other way around. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com to sign up for your trial today.
On today's Smart 7, Rishi gets ready for his big speech. Speaker McCarthy gets the sack and lots more. It's Wednesday the 4th of October. It's World Animal Day. And happy birthday, Stacey Solomon.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Tuesday saw day 3 of the Tory Party Conference and still no answer to the riddle of Rishi and the HS2 line. With no decision announced in advance, it appears that the PM will propose changes to the HS2 plan during his conference speech on Wednesday morning. It will most likely mean the Midlands to Manchester line being scrapped and new projects for transport in the North East. But on Tuesday, Rishi was still refusing to actually admit to any decision, even under pressure from ITV's Robert Peston.
Most people know that I'm across the detail of things. I do things properly and carefully, responsibly and sensibly. That's how I approach things. But I'm also willing to do things that are bold, that are different, as you saw on net zero.
He insists he's being cautious and practical and he's trying to fix broken politics and do things in a new way. But former Chancellor George Osborne is hoping that the Cabinet can still convince Rishi to go ahead with the HS2 project and cautions that big projects cost big money.
I think it'd be a great tragedy to cancel HS2. It's the biggest levelling up project the country has got, and in the end, if you want to make long-term decisions, that includes huge investments in infrastructure like HS2.
Apart from Rishi flip-flopping on HS2, the Tory Conference had some disturbing rhetoric from the stage, with Nigel Farage in attendance and conversations about whether he would or wouldn't rejoin the Tory party. The whole affair had a definite UKIP feel about it. The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, warned of a hurricane of mass migration on the way to the UK, attacked the Human Rights Act and mocked the luxury beliefs of liberal-leaning people. She also indulged in some transphobia, as did Health Secretary Steve Barclay, who made a point of criticising gender-neutral language from the NHS and announced a ban on trans patients from male and female-only hospital wards. He also had a good old go with the British Medical Association as the doctors and consultants strikes continued.
The militant BMA leadership, whose strikes have resulted in countless cancelled appointments and pose a serious threat to the NHS's recovery from the pandemic. Their consultants and junior doctors committee are relentlessly demanding massive pay rises, even if that means diverting resources from patients.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Tory conference without attacks on Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer. Michael Gove won the Weirdest Attack Award with this little number.
Sir Keir Starmer is the jellyfish of British politics. He's transparent, spineless and swept along by the tide. Under Sir Keir, Labour is the party of equivocation, procrastination, prevarication, but it is never prepared to stand up for our nation.
There was warnings on Wednesday that NATO countries are running out of ammunition to send to Ukraine. NATO's most senior military official, Admiral Rob Bauer, called for Western countries to ramp up production and to commit to the 2% of GDP for defence spending that NATO membership requires. The worries come as American support for Ukraine appears to be wavering as Republicans continue to wrestle over government spending and an impending shutdown. There was no good news for the Ukrainian side either, as MP Lesia Vasylenko, who made an appearance at the Tory Conference in Manchester, explained to Kay Burley. With a cold Ukrainian winter rolling in, time is running out for a significant breakthrough.
And you only have like another month to go before?
Another month or so before the cold and the winter settles in, before we will have to actually pause until the springtime. And this is the sad news for us, and I think not just for us, but all the countries that are supporting Ukraine right now.
Donald Trump was back in court on Tuesday as part of the civil fraud case against him brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James. He's highly offended that his prized possession, Mar-a-Lago, has been valued at just $18 million. He claims it's worth over $1 billion. His remarks outside court got him a warning from the judge in the case. Things weren't going well for Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy either. He lost his position as Speaker on Tuesday night. That's the first time in history it's happened, and he lost because 8 right-wing Republicans voted against him. It's not clear what happens next, but McCarthy was outraged by the events.
If you throw a speaker out that has 99% of their conference, that kept government open and paid the troops, I think we're in a really bad place for how we're going to run Congress.
Still to come on the Smart 7, double disappointment in the Champions League, and Arnold is back.
Right after this. Welcome back.
3.
The Champions League was back on Tuesday night with Arsenal and Man United both in action. United were hosting Turkish side Galatasaray, while Arsenal travelled to France to face Lens. It was a pretty bad night for both teams. Arsenal lost 2-1 in France, leaving them with just 1 point from 2 games. For United, it was a 3-2 loss, leaving manager Erik ten Hag's men bottom of their group with 2 losses and no points. But he was standing by his team.
And it's not only one making such an error, it's as a team we make such errors. And so you don't win the game, and which was totally unnecessary because, as I said, we were twice up, so you are in control of the game, and then you don't expect this outcome.
The US late-night talk shows all came charging back this week, competing to see who could do more Donald Trump jokes and have the biggest guest star names. The best joke of the night was probably Stephen Colbert, who said, "I checked the calendar and we were all fair for 154 indictments." Jimmy Fallon managed to avoid mentioning his apology over toxic workplace accusations. And Jimmy Kimmel won biggest guest with an appearance from former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, who had an amusing story about the time he took road repairs into his own not inconsiderable hands.
The city would not respond at all. We got the asphalt and we started fixing it. The bottom line is, it doesn't help when you sit out there and complain. The question you always have to ask yourself is, what do you do about it? And it's done.
And done.
Now, I tell you, it's the best fixed hole, the pothole there is.
That's what they're saying.
Canyon. That I can guarantee you.
There's a new 4-part series on the way to Netflix based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel All the Light We Cannot See. It's been developed for TV by Stephen Knight of Peaky Blinders fame, and it tells the story of Nazi-occupied France back in World War II from 2 points of view. There's a blind French girl who gets her hands on a radio transmitter, and a young German forced to fight for the Nazis who's trying to track her down. All 4 episodes drop on November 2nd.
Darkness lost, not even for 1 second. When you turn on the light. I know that broadcasting could get me executed. But I will not be silenced.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Border Patrol agents enjoy great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives for newly appointed agents. If you are looking for a way to serve something greater than yourself, consider the United States Border Patrol. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP. That's cbp.gov/careers/USBP.